Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are ready to set up our science here on the lunar surface. And for now we're going to make sure that we have all of our data collected here, and we do indeed. So we're going to have Bob EVA grab an EVA report and a surface sample. We're going to hop right back in. We're going to collect all of that data, and then Bob hops back out, grabs a second surface sample, and now we're going to grab our exterior science here. We'll observe our mystery goo. We might want to actually store our parachute for now because we're going to need some inventory space, but that's okay. We're going to collect this data and restore the mystery goo and then observe it again. So we're just grabbing all of the science that we can from here right now. Now we're going to hop over and do the same on our Radial Science Junior over this way. So we'll restore this. And as soon as that animation is finished, we'll conduct our material study. There we go. Collect data and restore, and we'll do the same one more time. Now we don't have an engineer to set up our solar panels, so we're only going to be producing one science here, and we can close these doors for now. We're only going to be producing one science here, and that's okay. We're not actually concerned about that. We have one science, did I say? One energy for this surface operation. We're going to have one extra, actually, so that's absolutely fine. I'm going to store this guy here, and we're going to go set some of these up. The question is, how far away do we actually want to go for this? The answer is not far. We don't have to go far at all. So I'll just set up a solar panel around here. We could also grab an EVA kit and perform our EVA science. Ah, yes. Science. Cool. So there's our science there. We're going to get 100% of this science. Cool. So we don't need to do any more of those, and we can put our EVA kit back in here. We can also bring out these lights, and we may as well. We're, of course, going to need to set up a bunch more things over here, but we can set up some, like, security lights, right? You never know what kind of shifty people are going to be trying to run around your location on the moon. You never can tell. So, actually, we don't need to grab a second one because we already have it. We can carry two of these. I keep forgetting that. Excellent. So, we're going to position about here. That'll do. And then we'll need to turn both of these on. Blink on. Perfect. Oh yeah, that's exact. No, that's not what we're going for. I just want them to be solidly on. So we'll do that. Perfect. So that'll give us some light, just in case we need to, you know, look through the cameras or report suspicious activity. You never can tell on the moon. Full of suspicious people. No doubt about that. So we're going to drop our communications module here. There we go. We'll need additional solar panel modules, but that'll be, well, we'll get those. We've got plenty. We'll drop our experiment control station somewhere around here. Perfect. And this way, this area will always be lit, even if we happen to land here at night or whatever. So that would be reasonably good. We'll grab our GUAB ED monitor, which is basically the only actual science we're going to get from this ground station, considering we're not really expecting to get much of anything from the seismometers. So we'll get that set up, and then, of course, we're going to get the seismometer set up. But we're really, really not expecting much out of this. Okay. So let's put this out over here. Looks good. And now we need to set up all of our additional power. So these are good to go. We can then come on over here. We've got 3 power units and an additional power unit. So we can grab one of these. Unfortunately, we can't grab 2 power units at a time. I wish we could. It would definitely streamline this. But we cannot. So we're going to drop this power unit out over here. Excellent. And let's go grab ourselves another one. It'll be in this guy. Excellent. So we're going to head on up over this direction. I want to drop this power unit maybe like up over here. That'll be fine. We only need in total 4 power for this, I believe. So let's put this guy right here. That should put us at 3. Yeah, total power needed 4, but we actually have 5 power stations with us. So we have 1 extra. We could recover it in theory, but I don't really think there's a reason to. We'll leave it here. That's completely fine. So let's head on up over this direction. And drop off yet another solar panel. So we'll put this guy right about where we're standing. So right about here-ish. That'll do. That puts us at 4, and we've got 1 more to grab. And then that should be everything that we need to get done here on the moon. So we should be able to head back and leave this extremely sketchy place. Except there is one more thing that we haven't been doing, which is planting flags. I don't have an explanation for why we haven't been doing that, because we should have been. So I'm going to drop this out over here, and we're going to have Bob plant a flag here. And that is, of course, going to be, once we get this animation done. Good job, Bob. Bob's super awesome, amazing flag. Good job. Excellent. So now we're going to have to go recover our... Where did we put that? Recover our EVA pack. There we go. And up we go. Phenomenal. So we'll grab on here and hop on in. However, Jeb was watching Bob put up that flag, and he is unimpressed. So Jeb is going to hop out here, and he's actually going to take down Bob's flag and put up his own. He was very unimpressed by that. So he's going to take down Bob's super awesome, amazing flag for Jeb reasons. And he's going to plant his own flag here, because Bob did it wrong. This has absolutely nothing to do with getting the experience from planting a flag. Bob did it wrong. This is Jeb's even more awesome and amazing flag. Excellent. Good job, Jeb. So Jeb has completed that. He has decided to face us for some reason. Okay. Now you're just showing off, Jeb. Hop on in. Excellent. So at this point, I want to make sure that our fuel is good. Confirmed, fuel is good. I'm going to shut down this engine. This engine will be activated as soon as we take off here. So we're going to be heading off on the 90-degree marker, and that'll be fine. SAS is on. We're going to throttle up immediately. I'm 99% sure that we're good to go here. I'm just running through a mental checklist here. Let's see, we've deployed our surface science, we've gotten all of this science. I think we're good to go. I don't think there's really anything else for us to do here. Although we did get a world first milestone for planting a flag on the moon. So that's cool. We're going to get on out of here, and let's go. This is going to be a little bit offset on the thrust, of course, and we're just going to park up here on the horizon. It's going to like to drift around due to our offset thrust, but that's okay. So we're going to just lock to prograde here, and we're going to be off in our inclination as well. We could try to launch into the correct inclination. Actually, we could. What direction would we need to go here? Not this way, the other way. Okay. So something kind of like this. That's just increasing our inclination, actually. No, we're not going to try to do this. We're just going to go to prograde here. It's fine. Okay. So our apoapsis height is currently about 10 kilometers. We're going to stop this burn at about 15. So 14 and 15. That'll do. Excellent. And now we're going to circularize here. Then we're going to have to match planes, which is going to be a little bit of a burn, but not too much, all things considered. It should be fine. Okay. The circularization is not quite what I'm looking for, but something along the lines of that will do. Excellent. So that'll be in about 3 minutes. Our thrust offset here is definitely a little bit rough. I'm going to thrust limit this down to 10%, just so that we have less impact from the thrust limiter, or rather from the offset thrust, I should say. The offset thrust here is going to be considerably less for us, because this essentially increases the relative strength of the reaction wheel. So the reaction wheel should be able to compensate much better like this, but we will have lower thrust to weight. Which, of course, at this point, we don't really care about. right? So that's fine. We have burned a decent amount of our ascent fuel, but that's to be expected. And this burn will be in about a minute here. So let's warp on forward a little further. 40, 30, 20, 10, and 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. It's a pure prograde burn, so I'm just going to stick to prograde here, and we're mostly just using this maneuver as timing. So that'll be fine. We'll just get our circularization going here, and because of the lower thrust to weight, it's going to be a little bit slower of a burn. So let's physics warp through that. No problem, but you can see just how much better it holds attitude. It's way better. So that's great. About 4 meters per second to go on this burn, and this is good enough. We don't need to do any more than that. So now we need to find ourselves, is this Apollo 14? Yes, it is. That's Apollo 11. All of these are in the same orbit. We need to do something about the amount of garbage we're creating in this orbit, but we certainly can set Apollo 14 as our target. The descending node's actually really close here. So we want to go this direction and bring that on down about like... This is good enough. Yeah, that'll do. So we need to start this burn in 15 seconds, apparently. Okay. It's going to be a 1.5-minute burn at this thrust level. That's fine. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay, so we'll physics warp this. Looks good. And what we really need to do is just get this inclination down to 0, right? We know that that's where we want to be. We are drifting off of the node a bit here. But for the moment, it's okay. Do we want to still be on this node here? I think so. We don't actually care about this maneuver at this point. We just want to be on this node and bringing the inclination on down. So half a degree now. 3, 2, 1, and 0. Looks good. So engine is shut down. At this point, I'm going to leave the thrust limited, actually. I want to check to see where an intercept might end up happening. We didn't time this in any meaningful way, so we're probably going to need to do phasing orbits. 1, actually, that's pretty close. So 1 phasing orbit here looks good. I saw 0.9. Okay, we can try to dial that in, but honestly, we can get there with corrections, right? So that's okay. And 44.3 meters per second relative, not bad. Not bad at all. So we're going to position ourselves up over here. That's going to be after a phasing orbit. So we're going to warp on forward. And we don't get any additional EVA reports. That's fine. This is, of course, going to be a prograde burn, so we'll head on over there. But we need to warp forward a little further. 40, 30, 20, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay, I do want to be on the node here. Or approximately on the node. Cool, so about a 20-second burn here. Seems absolutely fine. Our relative speed is only going to be like 40 meters per second. Yeah, 44.3 meters per second. So that looks absolutely great. We probably do want to unthrust limit this on our way in, just so that we can brake faster if need be. Okay, so something along the lines of that should do. I'm going to unthrust limit this now. We'll do a corrective burn sometime around here. We'll see how that's looking. And we are 0.8 kilometers apart. Sounds good. We're definitely going to need a corrective burn here. Okay. So there it is, 11.6 kilometers out. Let's do that burn somewhere around here. That's not much of a corrective burn needed. We can hop around over to retrograde now. We're coming in at about 50 meters per second, so that's definitely a little on the fast side. Okay, we're going to need more corrections here, which is expected, and we're going to push the retrograde node up like so. So we're now about 30 meters per second apart, and how is that looking? 0.2 kilometers now. That's a decent amount, but we're probably going to want an additional corrective burn. Okay. So let's bring this on over here, doing a bit more correction. There we go. And we're about 26.4 meters per second apart. Let's start the braking burn at about 300 meters, I think. So we're about 400 meters out now. Commencing braking burn now. Okay, now we're about 4 meters per second apart. We can do a corrective burn up this direction. There we go, 3 meters per second apart, and a little bit more correction there, 2.8 meters per second. Looks good, and now we're going to warp in a little closer. Down to about 100 meters apart. Are we on a collision course right now? I believe we are. Okay, so that's always a good sign. Cool. In we come. And I'm just decelerating us a little bit more. Down to about 2 meters per second. And pretty shortly, we're going to go down to about, well, 0. Right about now. Cool. So there we go. Now we can get turned around and prepared for docking. So we're going to set this as our target. And we're going to set this as our target. And we'll get positioned over here. And positioned over here. And we'll need to make some small alterations to that, of course. Cool. These are never going to be perfectly aligned, but this is close enough. So we'll head on in with our RCS at this point. Ooh, that actually got a little faster than I was looking for. So 0.5 meter per second here looks good. And we can slow it down just a little bit as we get closer here. This should be close enough for docking forces to take over. There we go. Excellent. So we're docked up, and we're going to transfer our crew on over. So we'll transfer Jeb into the command module, and Bob into the command module. Then, of course, we're not going to jettison the heat shield. We're going to open the service bay, and we're going to collect all of the data that we can. So we've got 8 there, we've got 8 here, and we've got 8 here. So we've got 2, 3, and 8. Perfect. We should have nothing in this storage unit now. This should be locked. Indeed it is. And this should also be locked. It doesn't like to open, but that's okay. So that all looks good. Where are we in relation to Kerbal right now? Okay, we're on the far side. That's absolutely fine. No actual issues there. So we can undock this. We are now done with our lunar lander here. Excellent. And sometime around the apoapsis here, we're going to want to just prograde burn and head back to Kerbal. So this looks absolutely great. We'll drop that down to about 40 kilometers. That'll do. Looks good. We'll get into position for this burn. And we will just gently drift apart over the course of this 30 minutes. So that's fine. Excellent. And there is our destination. About 15 seconds. I say seconds? 15 minutes when I said that, till our burn. 15 seconds and 15 minutes is mildly different by a factor of 60. So that's fine. We've got about 50 seconds now. 40, 30, 20, 10, and 2, 1, 0, mark. No offset thrust here, which is, of course, nice. I believe that was the shadow of our lamb there. It was indeed. Cool. So about 36 more seconds on this return trip burn here. 10 seconds. Okay, just making a small adjustment to chase the node here, and we'll call that good. How are we looking? 34 kilometers? I can work with that. Excellent. So we're going to be coming in this direction, I believe. Let's double check that. 1 day, 4 hours, and 1 day, 4 hours, 59 minutes, 38 minutes. Yep, we're coming in this direction, as expected. So around here, we'll do a radio retrograde burn and just make this a lot safer of a re-entry. Maybe more like here. Okay, so something along the lines of this. We can burn out all of this fuel doing this if we wanted to. So this is actually a pretty good burn right here. This is not going to burn all of the fuel even. I like it. So that's absolutely fine. We'll do that radial retrograde on the way in. And let's warp. So here we come, Kerbal. As soon as we get loaded into its sphere of influence, anyway. There we go. And we've got about 50 seconds until the burn. 40, 30, 20, 10. We had some loading going on there. There we go. Getting a little bit more aligned. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Mark. Cool. About 2.5 minutes on this burn. So we'll just bring this guy right on down. Excellent. Looking to keep our periapsis approximately the same height, while also dropping our apoapsis. What's our current altitude? Okay, we're going to be hitting atmosphere very soon here. So once we hit atmosphere, well, we're going to continue this burn for the moment. It should be fine. Although we want to maybe start trending a little bit more towards retrograde. Atmosphere hit as of now. For the moment, I'm okay with continuing this burn as we start to fall through the atmosphere. Our periapsis is currently quite high, so we are interested in finishing out this burn. Our periapsis is high enough that this theoretically might not actually land on this pass if we don't finish this burn. So we're definitely going to do this. So most of our fuel getting utilized here, but we can see our periapsis is starting to drop now in this last portion of the burn. So we're just going to take this down to about 10 kilometers is the idea here. You can see it's trending towards retrograde, so we're just going to hop on towards retrograde, get rid of that node, and we're just looking for the periapsis being about that 10 kilometer mark. Okay, so we no longer need this fuel. We'll get rid of that. And we can warp on through the atmosphere here with the vast majority of our speed gone. In fact, our apoapsis is suborbital at this point already, so that's absolutely wonderful. No issues whatsoever here. We are still accelerating right now, but that will start to drop very soon. And I think we're going to come down over land, aren't we? Yeah, quite possibly. Almost certainly, in fact. Sure, that's fine. We can see our landing site is currently over water, but there's a big old continent here. Okay. It's going to be over land. Cool. So inward we come here. We are currently at an apoapsis height of about 60 kilometers, but that doesn't really matter at this point. The only number at this juncture that really matters is our orbital and or surface speed. The surface speed is the number that really matters now. So we're going to drop that number on down as much as possible. We are in physics warp right now. And it's definitely starting to decline. If we start seeing issues, we'll have to drop out of physics warp. But for now, I'm content with this. 1.7 kilometers per second. 1.6. 1.5. We're drifting off of retrograde, so I'm coming out of physics warp here. Now we're holding retrograde better. We're currently moving at about 1.2 kilometers per second. 1.1. And we are sub 1 kilometer per second. SAS is off, drogues are out, and mains are out. Excellent. Flying low over Kerbal's desert, we can grab a temperature scan, of all things. We can also grab an EVA report, and once we slow down enough, we will. Apparently we haven't been in deserts yet, so we have some of our science instruments in here, and we can definitely grab some data off of that. That's definitely going to be good for us. So let's come out of physics warp for the moment. I do want to get our payment for this, so we're going to grab that right now. I think that only clicked once. Pretty sure we were at 9777. We can double check that. I'm going to do that. I'm pretty sure this is where we're supposed to be. I double clicked it, but I think it only accepted one click there. So for now, we're going to have Bob EVA and grab the EVA report. It is indeed a most precarious situation. And downward we go. This is a land landing, so we don't want to be physics warping when we hit the ground. That's for sure. 8 meters per second right now should be fine. We're probably going to lose this heat shield, though. That's expected. This is not made for a land landing, right? That's for sure. This is definitely meant for splashdown. But losing the physics, or rather the heat shield, is not the end of the world. I almost said physics shield. I guess it is kind of a physics shield, though, isn't it? That does explain what's going on there. We actually didn't lose the heat shield. We can grab our data here. So we grab everything except, of course, for a Science Junior. We don't have a Science Junior in this. So that's fine. Bob can EVA. We can grab our EVA report. We can grab our surface sample. Excellent. And we can open up our service bay here. And we can collect all of this data. Grab our temperature scan. We can EVA again and grab a surface sample. I'm not going to bother with the mystery goo reset. It's a ways away. It's a whole thing. And we would get 0.7 science out of it. We're just going to recover this vessel. That's fine. So how much science are we expecting to get out of this one? Actually, a lot. But a lot of the science is going to be deferred. It's going to happen over time from that Guab-Edi monitor, right? So that's going to trickle in over some period of time, a fairly lengthy period of time. And that's going to be a lot of our science that we get out of this. But we're still going to get roughly 500-600 out of it. In theory. What do we got? Also, how long before we have to get rovers? Not next flight, but the one after. Okay. So that's noted. We did get about 600 science out of that. That is magnificent. Nobody actually gained any XP despite planting the flags. That makes me a little sad. But there we go. So we're definitely going to have to figure out how we're going to handle the rovers, but that is not a next episode sort of thing. We'll figure out what we want as far as our science next episode. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Andy McGar, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.